Well, I'm so glad we're in the middle of a series called It's Complicated. And tonight, we're talking about something special. We are talking about dating. Everybody said dating. All right, I'll be honest with you. I think the modern dating scene is just atrocious. Would you agree? I got an amen. Would you agree that it's very complicated? I mean, just look at our songs. If you want proof, just look at our pop songs. It's interesting. In New York Times, they did a study. They did like this computer analysis, and they took all the hit songs since 1960 to present day, and the stats showed that since the 60s, there's just been this trend of narcissism and hostility in pop music. The song of our day is all about I and me, and not we and positivity. I mean, it's come from songs that were like, I wanna hold your hand, I wanna hold your hand, to, all right, you were feeling that? Oh, I'm sorry. What about, and then it goes to today's songs, which is like, my mama don't like you and she likes everyone. I've been so caught up in my job, didn't see what's going on, but now I know I'm better sleeping on my, come on, sing it, if you like the way you look down, come on, baby, you should go and love yourself. I mean, good job, everybody. You guys are good, man. You guys can sing. It's crazy that our songs are all about, these days, pain. That there's pain drawn out in relationships. There's a lot of hurt. And we can't monetize our pain like Justin Bieber can and make a lot of money because of our pain, but we can relate to what the pop songs and what songs are nowadays, because there's a lot of pain and there's a lot of complicated things that go on in dating. And I see real pain in our culture. And last week, we talked about our culture and how it's just filled with people chasing after whatever they want, whatever feels good to them, that there's just no more rules and no more boundaries. And we live in a culture where it's all about me, and it's all about pleasure, and it's all about what feels good in the moment. And that's the culture that's around us. And if we gravitate towards that, if we consume that type of content and we consume that culture all day long, that's going to actually control what we're attracted to. And it will actually stir your affections, and it can lead to wrong destinations like we talked about last week. And man, if you're younger in the room tonight, I know a lot of you were just like, last week you were like, oh my gosh, what the heck? I did not sign up for this. But I'm telling you, you need to hear this. Because, like I said last week, culture is selling you something. Everybody's out to sell you something. But like in that vision video that plays every week, the thief came to steal, kill, and destroy. What culture is selling you is going to seek, kill, and destroy your life. But Jesus has come to give you something better. And that's what I'm here to do, and especially in regards to relationships. And I want to answer the question tonight. How do you find the right person to be in a relationship with? And if you're a Bible geek and you know your Bible, you kind of know this, that the Bible actually doesn't mention dating. You guys, some of you in this room, actually, the Bible actually never talks about dating, and so I don't know why we're talking about dating, because it's not biblical. And listen, smarty pants, listen. The Bible doesn't specifically talk about dating because, yes, the way we do dating is like a new invention. It's only like around 100 years old. But there's always been a process of evaluating someone we can marry. And some of you are like, why the heck are we talking about this? Because I believe this, if you absorb the right culture now, that's going to set you up for a better, successful marriage in the future. Because I believe this, we all want good marriages, but we don't see that in today's culture. A lot of you come from a broken family with a lot of broken marriages. But I wanted you to figure out, especially those who are talking in the side, I want to set you up to succeed, especially when it comes to relationships, because there's a lot of pain that happens if we don't do things right. And that's why there's no better person to talk about than Samson. But there's also other passages in the Bible that talk about ways that we can evaluate who will be setting us up right for marriage. Look at Proverbs 25:24. It says this: it is better to live in a corner of the housetop of your roof Like it's better to live on top of your roof than to live in a house shared with a quarrelsome wife. What does quarrelsome mean? Quarrelsome means argumentative, confrontational, ready to fight, fiery, quick-tempered, hot-tempered, ill-tempered, bad-tempered, always complaining. Brothers, I'll be real with you. You don't want a wife that's like that. That's always nagging. That's always got beef with somebody. That's always complaining. Bible's just being real. There's true wisdom in Proverbs. And look, listen, men, you're not off the hook. A man without self-control is like a city broken into without any walls. That's Proverbs 25:28. Walls in the ancient context brought security and peace. And man, if you are dating a guy, or you want to date a guy that's always angry, that just kind of blows up, gets mad, and you marry that person, you're going to not have inner peace. And you're always going to be walking on eggshells. Because if they blow up and they get angry and they go off their emotions, that's going to set yourself up for a bad marriage. See, the Bible is full of wisdom when it comes to dating. And so this is why we're reading Samson tonight, to see what we shouldn't do. And Samson, like we talked about last week, had a special plan for his life. Before he was born, he had a special, God put on him, marked him for great things. But the problem we saw last week is that Samson kind of just does whatever he wants. He's filled with lust. He's filled with pride. And pride is thinking you know what's best for yourself. And so we look in the story, which we read last week, and if you guys remember, that Samson was just walking and he sees a girl, a Philistine girl, and he wants to marry this girl. Just by the basis of looks, he wants to date and then take it one step further, marry this girl. And I believe, if you're honest with yourself, you think, why the heck would he do that? Like, love at first sight, like what the heck is going on? But I believe we do this today. All of us in this room, because I believe some of us look for characteristics instead of character. That's my first point tonight. If you're taking notes, which I recommend if you're younger, we often look for characteristics instead of character. What do I mean? We often tend to look at the features, looks, personality. And look, those aren't bad things, but they cannot be foundational. You can't base your relationship just solely on looks. And listen, that's Tinder's game plan. Tinder's game plan, which is 2 billion users a second. Tinder's game plan is just for two things, looks and charm. Are you witty and are you hot? That's Tinder's game plan, and that's the culture we live in. But Proverbs 31 says charm is deceitful and beauty is fleeting. The charm is out to trick you. Doesn't have substance. And a lot of us base so much of our worth on, and what we look at when it comes to another person, based on characteristics and not character. And this is what Samson is doing. And so I want to jump into the middle of this story in Judges chapter 14. And we're going to see how Samson, filled with lust and filled with pride and filled with emotions, see how his life turns out. Because when you're doing life and you're doing based everything on feelings and emotions, and that leads to your actions, it might not be what you want at the end. Let's turn to Judges chapter 14, verse 10. It's going to be on the screens for you guys. So his father went down to the woman, and Samson prepared a feast there. For so the young men used to do. As soon as the people saw him, they brought 30 companions to be with him. Now, listen, right before this, we didn't go over this, but Samson, right before this, killed a lion, and he ate honey out of a carcass. It was a weird story. You can look it up later if you want extra credit. Now, that happened, and he wasn't supposed to do that, because Samson, like I said, had a special thing, a special privilege in his life. It was called a Nazirite vow, and it was only for that time, but he was not allowed to touch anything dead. But since Samson is consumed with pride, he just did whatever he wanted, so he killed the lion, and he ate honey out of it. Really weird. The Bible's got some cool stories. Now, you can read that on your own. Listen, but his dad, was just going through with the plan. Goes and he sets up a bachelor party for Samson. And it's a 7-day long bachelor party. I just had my bachelor party a couple months ago. It was great. I wish it was 7 days. I think we should start bringing that back, but that's a different story. Listen, and then in the middle of his bachelor party, just 30 random dudes just show up. Man, if 30 random dudes just showed up at my bachelor party, I'd be like freaking out. Like, what are you doing? What are all these people doing here? What's going on? But listen, I love Samson. I relate with Samson. And so this is what Samson does. He pulls a little prank on him. And I love this. Let's keep reading. Verse 12 says this. And Samson said to them, let me now put a riddle to you. If you could tell me what it is within the 7 days of this bachelor party and find it out, I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothes. But if you cannot tell me what it is, then you shall give me 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothes. And they said to him, put your riddle that we may hear it. And he said to them, out of the eater comes something to eat, and out of the strong comes something sweet. And in 3 days they could not solve the riddle. So it's like, what's going on? So Samson, sees these 30 people, and he's like, I'm going to mess with them. I'm going to make this riddle up that I just make up on the spot, and they have to figure it out. And, if you guys don't figure it out, I get all your clothes. And so it's like, give me your pants if you can't figure this out. It's like, what is going on? I mean, I could just see, what is it? What is his end goal? What is this? What? Why would he be doing this? Let's keep reading. Well, on the 4th day, they said to Samson, his wife, entice your husband to tell us what this riddle is, lest we burn you and your father's house with fire. So these 30 guys, these 30 friends, companions, but these 30 random people are now really ticked off. They're pissed, and they're like, hey, to the wife, the future wife, listen, figure this out or else you're dead. The stakes got really high. Things are getting crazy. And so Samson's wife wept over him and said to Samson, you only hate me. You don't love me. She used the L word. That word is scary. You don't love me. You put a riddle to my people, and you've not told me what it is. And he said to her, yo, I have not even told my father or my mother. I'm not telling you. And so she wept before him for 7 days. This girl was crying for 7 days. And as long as the party lasted, on the 7th day, he tells her the answer to the riddle. Because why? She pressed him hard. And then she told the riddle to her people. She a snitch. She told it to the people. And so now, look what happens. And all the men from the city said to him on the 7th day, before the sun went down, what is sweeter than honey and what is stronger than a lion? And he said to them, if you had not plowed with my heifer, I don't know what that means, but that's sounds like a bad word, and you would not have found out my riddle. What the heck is going on? Samson is in his bachelor party, doing whatever he wants, honestly just wants to get drunk and get hammered, because that's what people did in that time, and just wanted to get hammered, being led by his emotions. Is it a bachelor party with 30 people, and those 30 people are actually his enemies, bad guys. They were called the Philistines, and they were enemies of God's people. And Samson's whole point of his existence and his special calling in life was to destroy his enemies. But now we're in this middle of this scene in the bachelor party, and all of a sudden, it's like, what is going on? What's with this riddle? I'm so confused. Can you please help me out? Why is this so complicated? And I think that's precisely what's going on. The reason why we're just so like, what is going on, is because this is what happens when you are led by your emotions. When you do what you feel like in the moment, and when you're filled with the wrong things, this is what happens, complicated things. And we go into different relationships and different dating that we shouldn't be going into, because why? We feel that way. And it just feels right in the moment. But we never stop to think and ask, is this good? Is this wise? And when we're clouded by feelings, we can miss clear red flags. We can miss basic stuff that would be so clear looking back, but because we often go with our emotions, we do stupid things, and we go down and we have complicated situations. And look, I'm not saying tonight that chemistry isn't bad. There's passages about it and all throughout the Bible. But it can't be foundational. And so often we disregard the character of somebody just because we have chemistry with that person. And this is what happens when you don't guard your heart. Proverbs 4:23 says this, and it's one of my favorite verses. Above all else, before, the Proverbs, it's just a book of wisdom. And he's saying, like, look, man, I'm going to shoot you straight. Before you do anything, guard your heart. And what's your heart? It's your emotions, it's your thoughts, it's your desires. And you need to guard that. What comes in matters and what comes out matters. And like I talked about last week, we talked about what's going into your heart, what's going into the things that stir your affections. Because it matters what comes in, but it also matters what comes out. Because why? Why does it matter? For everything you do. All your actions, all your steps you take, all the decisions you make, everything you do flows from it. Your entire life flows from your heart, so you need to guard it. And this flies in the face of culture. Because culture says, follow your heart. That's what's coming out. It's just follow your heart. But the people who dwelt on the things of God says, you know what? Actually, your heart is deceitfully wicked above all else. So you need to guard it. You need to watch over it. Because if you don't, you end up in crazy complicated drama, in a crazy situation, and unnecessary stress, and you end up dating the wrong people. And you end up in situations you don't want to be. And so I'm giving it to you early. This is my bottom line for tonight's message. Don't let only emotions determine the person you date. And some of you are younger, and you're going to go into situations and seasons, and you're going to find somebody, and you're going to be really attracted to them, and that's great. But do not place that as your final foundation. Because why? Why are you saying this? And why does this matter? How does this apply to me? Well, Paul gives great advice in the New Testament. See, Samson's in the Old Testament, before Jesus. Paul is writing to a church in Corinthians, like we talked about in our first series. And in the Corinthian church, man, there's a bunch of terrible marriages. There's a bunch of sexual immorality happening. There's just people just doing what they want, kind of like in today's culture. And he says this when it comes to relationships. He says, don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness? Or what fellowship has light with darkness? And now, growing up, I always heard that verse, and I was very confused on what that verse means. But over the next couple minutes, I just kind of want to explain that for you guys today. And so I want to call up Lorena and Gabby up to the stage, and to help me kind of explain what the heck this verse means. And so, if you don't know who Lorena and Gabby are, Lorena sings and does all the social media. Gabby is a really close friend of mine, I should say. Let's just say that. And so it's funny because a lot of you guys actually got these two people confused. So you could go over there with Gabby. And so you look at them. Yeah, they're similar. You see them. They look the same on the outside. They're wearing the same shirt, wearing the same type of name tag, wearing the same jeans, and wearing the same shoes. Like, they got the same hair. I mean, with them, like, they're practically identical twins. I mean, am I wrong or am I right? Like, I mean, I don't know, like, with all the Marvel and multiverse stuff, I don't know if that's true, but, like, look at this. This is weird. But here's the deal. When you get to know them, it gets weirder. Because they both love Chick-fil-A. They both love Starbucks. They both love Target. They both shop and buy the same things. They both think the same. Like, they accidentally matched on Sunday at church if you were there. Like, they literally think the same, react the same to situations. And if you were tell them apart, you can't really tell them apart with all the similarities on the outside and then also on the inside. Am I right? But there's something about these two, when you get to know them, when you get to have conversations with them, that are completely different. See, one person, why don't you keep talking with them and get to know them? See, one is committed, loves, is in a covenant relationship with Stephen. The other is in a committed covenant relationship with your boy. Can I get an amen? How you doing? Now, see, they look the same on the outside. They have the same inner qualities, but their love and their allegiance are for two different people. One's for Stephen, and one's for me. You guys aren't getting it. So listen. Some of you are going to be in relationships, or you're going to be in school, or you're going to be here at youth group, and you're going to see two different people. You're going to find two different people that you like. And they're going to look the same on the outside. They're going to be maybe the characteristics that you want. They're going to be have all the things that you can ever dream of on the outside, and then also personality-wise, they're really nice. They have good morals. They go to church. They go to FUSEyouth. They're here. They serve on Sundays. They're on the worship team. They might all have those two same qualities, but you need to get to know that person's allegiance, because if their allegiance is for two different things, you might end up in a relationship that you never want to be in. See, you want to make sure if you love Jesus, if your allegiance is to Jesus, you need to make sure that you're dating somebody that has the same allegiance as you. If your allegiance is to Jesus, your boo thing better have the same allegiance to Jesus. And you could get, and I see it all the time, because when I talk to my friends, and they're just like, well, you know, they go to church, they're nice people, they have the same values, they have the same morality as me, but man, I'm telling you, you're not going to know their allegiance until you get to know them. Do you see it? Thank you, Lorena. Your now duties are done. Everyone give it up for Lorena. Now, Paul says this. He says, do not be unequally yoked. Now, what does that mean? Well, to be honest, growing up, I was like, what the heck? That verse doesn't make any sense. That's so confusing. Well, listen, I'm from New York. I saw maybe 4 cows my entire life growing up, okay? Like, I'm not used to the farm life. I'm in Benson. I'm in North Carolina. It's different. But what a yoke was back in the Old Testament, a yoke was used for oxes. And it was just like this big thing that they would put into 2 oxes that they would make sure that, oxen, I'm sorry. I've never had to really say that word in the plural tense. I'm sorry. Listen, they put oxen together in this thing called a yoke. Now, I didn't want to ask any of you guys for that thing, because that's disgusting and I don't want that. But to go with this illustration, I got some handcuffs. So, hold on. Never really got arrested before, so I really don't know how these things work. So because we're husband and wife, we're married. And so we are quote unquote yoked together. Paul says, hey, listen, Paul says this. I'm going to explain that verse. Paul says, look, you want to make sure that the person you attach yourself to has the same allegiance as you. Because here's why. He knows what's going on in your heart and in your soul. And if you don't guard your heart and you emotionally yoke with somebody, you give your heart and soul to that person thinking, man, I can't wait to marry them. I can't wait to date them. We're going to fall in love. We're going to have a family. Things are going to be great. He knows if you do that to somebody that doesn't have the same allegiance as you do, it's going to end bad for you. And so in life, you're going to be walking. You're going to be journeying through life. And if you don't have the same allegiance, you might go off in different paths. And you might say, Anthony, come over here. You might say, Anthony, look, I'm going to be the exception to the rule. I'm going to date this person, I'm going to marry this person because I'm in love and the chemistry is amazing and we have the same initials and life is just so good. And listen. You might start out okay. I'm just going to be real with you. You might be doing life together and you might have similar values. You might have a similar target. And you might be walking, and I've seen this happen a bunch of times, where 2 years, 3 years down the road, look, Anthony, I'm dating this person. Things are good. We have the same values, and yeah, he doesn't really love Jesus, but I'm going to change that. I'm going to influence him to love Jesus. Or, yeah, we kind of have the same values, and he kind of goes to church, but you need to make sure that the person you link up with emotionally, and especially marriage, that their allegiance and they're sold out for the cause of Christ. Because if they don't, what's going to happen is, yeah, you might be good, but they're going to want to compromise a little bit. Well, because since their allegiance isn't to Jesus, they're going to be like, well, we can have sex before marriage. We've been doing this thing for a while. Look how far we've come. Look, we love each other. It's okay. Well, I want our kids to be raised a certain way, and I want to do our finances this way, and what's going to happen is the person that's not aligned with Jesus is going to drag you wherever. If it's a girl or if it's a guy, it doesn't matter. Because I'm telling you, our heart is deceitfully wicked, and our hearts are going to trick you. You lie to yourself more than anybody else. It's true. And so you're going to lie to yourself, well, it's going to be okay, like, it's fine. But I'm telling you, you're going to go on to different paths. And you might be doing things, you're going to end up in a destination you don't want to be in. But, well, they looked good over there. Like, we traveled pretty far. How do you know if somebody's allegiance is to Jesus? Simple. You walk with the person. You do life together. You walk. You get to know the person. And not over like coffee, not over Snapchat, not over just different things in a short period of time. You get to know the person. Before you emotionally invest, before you pour your heart and soul into a person, you get to know them. So you just walk. And you follow Jesus because you see what he's done in your life, and he's called you out. He's called you by name, and he's loved you, and you're sold out for the cause of Christ. So you're going to go that way. And so you're just going to walk with somebody, and then you're going to look up once in a while. It's like, oh, hey, how you doing? Okay. But you're not going to link up yet. You're going to keep walking. And then you're going to look up again. Oh, we've been going the same direction. Oh, we got the same values. We got the same morals. We're both, it looks like we're going to, well, looks good. Let me get to know you. All right, let's go. Jesus is over there. Let's go. We're fine. Okay, I'm doing life. Put my head down. I'm following Jesus. I'm not attaching myself to anybody. Oh, you're still here. Oh, we like the same things. Oh, we can talk about things, and it's not awkward. And you like what I like, and you love what I love. That's when you link arms. That's when you attach yourself. That's what I did. I got to know her. I remember the first interaction we had together, and I gave her a high five and told her to sign up for community groups at my church because I wanted to get to know her. I wanted to see if we were going the same direction. And so a couple months in, we're walking. I was like, oh, hey. We like the same things. We love the same person. Our allegiance to the same person. And it just made sense. Oh, we both want to see people come to life in Jesus together. So let's just link up. We're going the same direction. We're going the same way. Let's just link up. That's what Paul's saying. And I love the NLT version. It says this, and it's going to be on the screens. Don't team up with those who are unbelievers. Don't team up with somebody. Don't date somebody. Don't pour your heart and soul into somebody if they don't believe in Jesus. If they don't love the things that you ultimately love. How can righteousness be a partner with wickedness? How can light live with darkness? And that's not saying that, man, you can't be friends with people. It's just, man, when you pour your heart and your soul and your emotions into somebody, you got to make sure that they linked up. Because I've seen too many relationships be broken because people have linked up with people that they should have never linked up with. And we see that in Samson. And so that's my heart for you guys. And in our culture, it's so easy just to fall in love with somebody. And love is an amazing thing. It really is. But it's precious. It's a delicate thing. And I want to make sure that you guys are set up to the best way.